Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Bicycle Thieves. And this movie came out in 1948, and it's a classic that I'd never seen before. And I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a nice, simple story that didn't take up a lot of time. It was 90 minutes. I was like, yeah, that's a good runtime for this concept. A guy gets his bike stolen, and he has to get it back because otherwise he's going to lose his job. That's a pretty simple story, and most of the movie it takes place over the course of one day, and I felt as though that was a pretty good concept, and it was a nice idea. I just feel as though the amount of times we were just looking around Rome to find where this bike is or this thief was a little repetitive and kind of got a bit stale because there's only so many times you can do that before it starts to get stale because the structure of these scenes all kind of feels very similar. And I didn't really feel like it was much of a detective story because that's not really what it's going for, but also at the same time, because it's not going for, oh, we need to find clues and really figure out where this bike is. It does that for a little bit, but unfortunately, it's kind of just a surface level. Oh, it's just people and how they react when they're being faced with these accusatory questions. And that was the most that we got that made it really interesting. But I do feel as though there are parts of this movie that just felt a little slow for me. And I did like, however, how fast this movie got right into the concept. It wasted no time getting there. I was like, wow, we're getting a plot already. That was really fast. I also liked the characters. I liked the wife character, even though she wasn't in the movie a lot. She was a great character when she showed up. It was only like for a few scenes and only for the first act, but overall I thought she was a really good character. And I do like that the main character was a father and decided to bring his son along, because I do feel as though that would have hurt the film if it was just him walking around by himself and had no one to talk to. And because it wasn't a story where it's like, oh, we need to figure out some clues and really get to the bottom of where this bike went. It was just, oh, who can I recognize? Can I find something? And ultimately, the hopelessness of the situation. And I feel as though because he brought his kid along for the ride, it helped with the dynamics a bit more and made it more interesting, I feel. Like he had someone to talk to. And I also love the scene where the bike gets stolen. I thought that was a great scene, and the ending was great. I also liked the tone of the film a lot. I felt as though it did a great job at capturing the hopelessness of the situation, and that's something that I felt throughout the film. And without spoiling anything, this isn't the type of movie where our main character goes around street and street and asks different kinds of questions to all these different people. It's very minimalist and not a lot happens, which is fine. Not every movie needs to be the same, but there are things that did kind of drag it down, and one of those being this isn't the type of movie that I'm really rushing back to. Not that I think it's bad or the tone is just something that's not up my alley or anything like that, but rather there's just nothing bringing me back to it that I would love to revisit. There isn't this super fantastic scene that I want to see again, other than like a couple of scenes that I think were great. It was mostly just consistently decent that I really enjoyed, and there were some obvious cuts in the scenes that were supposed to have like longer takes, and I was like, okay, that's a little bit distracting. I could forgive it a little bit more because that's something you see a bit more in older films, or at least the ones that I'm familiar with. But at the very least, I can say it didn't happen all that much. But one last criticism that I did have with this film is that despite the 90-minute runtime, there were still points where it was dragging for me, like I said already. I just feel as though it could have been a bit shorter or just had some more meat for me to chew on and keep me going and keep me interested, because I just wasn't fully hooked throughout, unfortunately. And I do feel as though when it comes to the emotional experience, whether or not you're going to feel the runtime, it's either going to be a film that really sticks with you or it's not. And it did, kind of, but there are just some parts where I was more engaged than others, is how I would put it. And overall, I thought it was good. I didn't regret watching this movie. I would recommend it to people, and it's currently on HBO Max. So if you need a place to see it, there's a way to do so. And that's about all I have to say about it. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Bicycle Thieves a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of Bicycle Thieves, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Big Six. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.